The sport is healthy, man. It's healthier than it's been in a while. This run we're going on where you have top fighters fighting other top fighters and putting on great performances and getting onto the pound for pound list. And getting on the pound for pound list is now more difficult than it's been in a long time. And staying on it is even more difficult as you see guys continue to put on great performances. I'll say this on top of all that, the young talent coming up, the recycling process that's happening, these older lions hanging on for dear life as these younger lions come up the ranks. Boxing is healthy. Boxing is healthy globally, and boxing is also healthy domestically here in America. American boxing is healthy. We're in a good spot right now. And don't let anybody tell you differently. And that's in spite of what promoters, managers, network execs are doing politically to hold up the sport. Despite all of that, boxing is still boxing, and boxing is in a healthy and good spot. And that's what happens when you allow boxing to be boxing. That's what happens when you get out of the way and allow these fighters to fight each other. And they're going to put on great performances, and they're going to go for greatness. Most of them anyway. And the ones who don't are going to get left behind. But you look at pound for pound lists, and I got mine here: Inoue, Usyk, Crawford, Canelo, Jermell, Errol Spence Jr., Bivol, Beterbiev. Who else I got? Shakur Stevenson, Chocolatito, Haney, and Fulton. That's my top 12. Lomachenko sitting on the outside of that. Bam Rodriguez is climbing up the rankings. If he were to beat Sora Vise this weekend, he can climb in there. But half of those guys are American fighters. And then if you look at the American talent coming up, on top of it, Boots Ennis, Virgil Ortiz. I just named Stephen Fulton's already on the list. Shakur Stevenson's already on the list. Bam Rodriguez is right on the outside the list. These guys are in their early 20s, already doing great things in the sport. Talent level off the charts, the eye test off the charts. You even look at young prospects coming up, only 3-4 fights in, like a guy like Shushu Carrington. The future's bright. The future's bright. So you got to have a positive attitude on this, positive aspect. Boxing is in a great place. And I have my numbers here as far as like the real champions in boxing. Boxing is such a global sport that now that the world is getting smaller, that we're able to access fighters universally who are fighting in Japan, fighting in Latin America, fighting in the UK. You got, out of all the champions in boxing, 17 weight classes, four legit sanctioning bodies in the sport. You got 16 countries represented, 43 world champions represented in the sport. I mean, America is leading the way with 19 belts owned, but you got the UK with 9, Japan 8, Mexico 8, Russia 4, Ukraine 4. So you've got 16 different countries represented when it comes to the world championships, the legit world championships, not the Reggie belts, not the JV trinkets. Legit championships, 4 sanctioning bodies, their main belts, 16 countries are represented there. And we're able to access lower weight class fighters like never before, and watching them fight on the DAZN app, for instance. See fighters fight in Asia, from Japan, and see fighters fight that we wouldn't have been able to see fight 10, 15, 20 years ago. So the sport is healthy. American boxing is healthy. Boxing is bigger than ever universally because it's growing in other parts of the world. So don't let anybody tell you differently. The sport's in a good place. And hopefully we continue this run that we've been on the past 3 months where fighters are doing great things in the sport. God bless.